Let's all play What's My Line? And now let's meet this week's What's My Line panel. First, a jolly gent whose humor never fails. His showbiz name is Soupy Sale.
Thank you, Johnny Olson. It's a pleasure to welcome back this beautiful day. Not only a fine actress, but a best-selling authoress of a book called Starting from Scratch, which is about interior decorating, Joanna Barnes.
And on my left, to keep things on the panel rolling merrily along, Mr. Gene Rayburn.
Thank you, dear girl. And now, oh, now here's the mystery lady. She's dressed in black. Arlene Francis.
Well, in honor of Earth Day, we have with us the salt of the earth and a peppery fellow, Wally Bruner.
Thank you, Arlene. I feel about as tired as old Mother Earth. And about as old sometimes. But it's nice to have a big wheel on the panel this week, Gene.
What's that?
I say it's nice to have a big wheel on the panel this week.
Thank you.
You actually ride that thing all around Manhattan?
Yeah, ride it around town, go to work, wherever I'm working, and it works out very well.
Well, as you can see, we're rolling right along to get things started off. So are you all set?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's meet our first challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Gary Thompson. Gary, where are you from?
Chicago, Illinois.
All right, panel, Gary Thompson deals with a product. Now, the product is actually worth less than $100, but people sometimes spend much, much more to get it. But now let's show the audience just what this product is. It's worth a little less than $100, and people sometimes spend more than that to get it. We'll begin the questioning with Arlene.
With me, did you
Yes,
say?
ma'am.
Oh, excuse me. I was thinking about what I'd pay more than $100 for. Is this something that one might get as a reward?
Yes.
Is it something that might be in the form of either a medal or a statuette?
Yes.
Well, the only thing I can think of is something that you might have as a, perhaps an Oscar or a Tony or...
That's it.
Yes.
Well, $100. Very good. And you know, Gary, well, first let me say this. Mr. Thompson is the Executive Vice President of Dodge Trophies, who make the Oscars. But for our audience, this was a classic case of how Arlene got this, and I think I know, but I want you to tell them.
No, the only way I know about, or what I think of it, is that an Oscar doesn't cost so much to make, but an actress or an actor or a performer has to spend many years and spend a great deal of money in accomplishing the height of his talents in order to win one. Is that what you meant by that?
Well, and I think also the fact that you yourself would pay more than $100 for one.
Only if I earned it.
No, but I mean, I think, didn't you eliminate many things in your mind, as you said when you first began?
Yes.
I was trying to think of what I would pay more than $100 for. Yes, Joanna?
Well, as a member of the Academy, I don't think too many people know it, but if an actor or an actress who has won an Oscar falls upon hard times, it can sort of redeem it at the Academy for an amount of money. The Academy doesn't want them hawking them in hawk shops or something, so they'll help you out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know
I
this.
think you should have Mr. Thompson explain how the trophy got the name of Oscar.
All right. Mr. Thompson?
This was originated by a relative of a woman who now works for the Academy, and they were just thinking of some kind of a name for it, and this man happened to mention it looks like my uncle Oscar, and that's how the name came about.
I was under the impression that it was Betty Davis who had named
No,
it.
I don't know.
Well, how long have you been making Oscars?
Since 1929.
Since the very
And that's
first
the
one.
inception of it, correct.
Well, has it changed or remained pretty much the same?
No, the design has remained the same.
I think it's interesting. You know how the original design came about?
It was designed on a tablecloth in 1929, and the tablecloth was taken from the restaurant and given to a sculptor, and he's the one who did the sculpturing on it.
And
Right off the tablecloth.
Who was the first winner of the Oscar?
Well, the first female winner of the Oscar was Janet Gaynor. And she won for 3 movies, which in the
Seventh
awards were
Heaven?
given a little bit differently at that time. Seventh Heaven was one of them, and 2 other movies that were also produced within the same year, which I do not recall. Do you recall, Gary? But she was the first female. I think there were 15 awards given the first year. Yes, Chief?
I believe it was Conrad Nagel whose idea
Yes.
was
Yes.
originally
Yes,
to
that's
start
correct.
the whole thing.
That's right. Conrad
That's
Nagel was
correct.
one of the founders of the Academy, along
Yes.
with about 10 other
No.
gentlemen of the film industry. But perhaps he conceived the idea.
No, it was
Yes.
he and one other. He and one other.
But, you know, very few of us have an opportunity to... Oh, but I want to ask one other thing first. You've made a mistake, I know, on one occasion on
Just
the Oscars.
one, and I
Would you
wish you
tell the
wouldn't have
panel
said
about it?
that.
I think they'll enjoy it.
Spencer Tracy's was engraved Dick Tracy.
But since so few of us ever have an opportunity to see an Oscar close up, we have one here which we're going to take a look at. And, oh, you know, they're really quite heavy. They weigh about 10 pounds.
What are they made of?
And here is the Oscar.
It's a special metal which is very heavily plated. It's Britannia metal.
And it is gold-plated.
Yes, it is. Very
But, you
heavily
know,
gold-plated.
for those of us who have never really been that close up to one, and perhaps you can see with the close-up on the camera, that the statue is actually standing on a reel of film. And then, of course, it is a stalwart type of person, and he's holding a sword. He's holding the hilt of the sword with his hands, and the point of the sword rests between his toes. And this is supposed to be the Crusader's sword. And the Oscar supposedly represents a crusading film industry that can bring about technological and educational developments through the use of motion pictures. So that's how it was originally conceived, and it is beautiful. Why don't you take this with you, Gary? And I don't think I've earned one yet. I'm sure the panel would like to get a closer-up view of it, and we enjoyed having you on What's My Line.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be back to meet another challenger as What's My Line continues. Thank you, Johnny Olson. And in case some of you are wondering why the Oscar that we had did not gleam quite like the ones perhaps you have seen on television before, it's because we were a little sneaky and sprayed it with some kind of gook so it doesn't shine, but so you can at least see it better. But now, you all set for our next challenger?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, panel, our next guest is a young lady with the name of Linda Jessett. Now, Linda works for an agency called Flight 485 because all of the girls who work out of that agency are ex-airline stewardesses or hostesses. Now, recently, Linda was called upon to spend a week doing something truly unusual. Now, she is demonstrating that particular occupation right now here on the stage behind the curtains. And before we show you Linda engaged in her occupation, please put on your blindfolds.
Oh. Oh.
Blindfolds in place.
Wait. Okay.
All right, now let's meet Linda and show our audience just what her line is. Hi, Linda. Are you comfortable?
Yes, I'm comfortable.
Okay, now I'll remind you again, panel, that this is something that Linda was called to do for 1 week as part of her job of working for Flight 485. So with that information, let's begin the questioning with Soupy Sales.
Thank you. Is it Linda? Is that who it is?
It is Linda.
Linda, is what you do, what you did for this week, is it in connection with something that would have to do with an airline?
No.
That's one down. Joanna Barnes.
I
Are you wearing... no, wait a minute. May I assume that you are not wearing ordinary street clothes?
Yes.
Are you, in fact, wearing less than street clothes?
Yes, I am.
Let's hear it for Linda.
Spent a week stark naked in Macy's window. Are you perhaps not dry?
Yes.
Are you, in fact, underwater?
Partly.
Did you... Well, she spent a week in the water. Now, what am I supposed to find out? Like, if she was in a bathtub or if she...
Well, why don't you find out what she was doing there?
Getting paid for it.
Right, but there's another small part.
Well, you're partly in the water. May I assume that the part is below the waist?
No.
You're standing on your head in a mud puddle.
Well, yes, I would say the part below her waist is underwater.
She's not entirely underwater. I mean, I established that, right? She spent the week partly underwater. I'm supposed to find out which part?
No, you're supposed to find out what she was doing there. Why she was in the water to start with.
Well, because somebody hired her to do it. Testing, were you testing something?
Yes, I was testing something.
Were you testing some kind of sporting equipment?
In a sense, it's sporting, yes.
It has to do with some type of sport. I don't know if it's directly connected, but it has to do with it.
In a miniature submarine or something? No, that wasn't
That's
a question.
a no. Gene Rayburn.
Do you mind if I get in with you? Listen, this thing you were
bathing
testing...
suit
Why, I
on.
beg your pardon?
Put your bathing suit on.
All right. Are you wearing a bathing suit?
Yes.
Is the thing you are testing something... Are you wearing what you are testing? Or is
Yes.
Is it something other than a bathing suit?
Yes.
And is it applied to some part of your body?
Yes.
Applied, you mean like a cream or lotion, Gene?
Yeah, or makeup or something like that.
No.
That's 3 down, Arlene.
Is it something to do with scuba diving or some sort of water sport?
No.
Now, panel, I'm afraid our time is up. May I suggest to you, please, that you take off your blindfolds and meet Linda and take a look for yourself, because she is demonstrating the Mighty Mac Life Preserver jacket. Is it really nice in there, Linda?
Oh, just like the bathtub. Very good.
Now, where did you spend a week in the swimming pool?
At Abercrombie's and Fitch. On
You're
main
floating,
floor.
you keep floating away from me. At Abercrombie's and Fitch.
Yes.
And you spent all day long?
In a 1,000-gallon tank, fish tank.
And it didn't...
Little wrinkles out?
Yeah, didn't you get all shriveled up?
Well, at night my mother would iron me out.
Oh, pretty good.
Just a joke.
Well, why don't we see panel, why don't you go back and sit down, Linda? Let's see what you look like on dry land, okay? May I help you out with that? Now, this is simply just a jacket, and I understand there are air pockets in the jacket that keep it afloat, right? Johnny, you got all the nice jobs. Yes. It's a Mighty Mac, and as you can see, just throw it in and it floats, and it'd be a great thing for kids out on boats and other people, wouldn't it, as a life preserver, and also offer protection from the weather.
Yes.
So it's a dual-purpose thing, and very safe. Well, Linda, congratulations to you. You survived it. Any idea what Flight 485 has in store for you next?
I don't have any idea, but I hope it's something like this.
Something as interesting and
Yes.
as much fun. Well, thank you. You stumped the panel, and we enjoyed having you on What's My
I
Line.
enjoyed being here.
Thank you. Did you say hello to you? What's My Line will continue right after this word. And we've reached the fun time again on What's My Line. That's when we meet our mystery guest panel of the blindfolds in place.
Yes, sir, Wally.
All right, mystery challenger, would you enter and sign in, please? Panel, as I'm sure you know, it will be one question at a time. You have 3 minutes, and we'll begin the questioning with Joanna Barnes.
Are you to be found in the newspaper pages containing the news of show business?
Occasionally.
Gene Rayburn.
And when we read that news, would we read the ABCs, that is, the legitimate theater directory?
No, not at the moment.
Arlene.
Well, perhaps would we see your name in advertising a motion picture?
That will come very soon.
Let me say that you might well at various times find this particular name in either one of the columns, advertising theater or motion pictures, but what I think our guest was saying at this particular time, you will not. Soupy.
Have you ever had your own series on television?
No, I've resisted that strenuously.
Joanna?
Are you a fella?
Oh, some question, but I vote yes.
Definitely yes. Gene?
She's a man.
It's a guy. Well, now, sir.
Yes.
What are you doing after the show?
You pay.
Okay. It's a date. That's all. No, are you a leading man type?
I'm more in character now, but I've led.
Arlene?
I think I hear the sound of a voice that I know very well.
I've led you, dear.
We know each other, don't
Yes.
we? Yeah. Didn't you do a picture recently with a man I'm closely associated with?
How do you spell it?
Did you do a picture? Have you just returned from Hong Kong?
Yes.
It's Burgess Meredith.
It is.
Can't keep it away.
What were you doing in Hong Kong, Bruce?
I was arranging a picture that I wrote and I directed, and I had a very rich part for myself in it. With James Mason and a lot of people, and we were there for 4 months and loved it. Before that, I was with Marty Gable and Henry Fonda and Kirk Douglas in The Desert, which Martin and I disliked very much.
But he liked you very much, and that made up for it all.
Yes, we had great times.
There was a crooked man.
There was a crooked man. That ought to be out pretty soon. What time is it? You know?
Burgess, are you still riding?
Riding, yes. Riding horses, yes.
Yeah,
I just
he's fantastic
just got a ribbon yesterday, which you'll be glad to hear. It was only a white one, but it was pretty good at Holiday Farm.
I've known Burgess for a while, and it really, I didn't know how, he is a great horseman. And we were in a sauna bath one time, and he's fantastic. You talk about somebody being black and blue from falling off of jumping horses. It was just fantastic. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I like to fall, evidently.
You like it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to.
Would you tell me now that you're planning on another trip to Hong Kong? Is this to finish up the?
No, I have to go out to the coast now.
Oh, you're going to finish it here.
Yes, I must say, I loved Hong Kong. It was great. And,
well, was this a setting of Hong Kong as a background or something?
Yes, I wrote this story called The Yin and the Yang of Mr. Go, and James Mason played this Eurasian, and we enjoyed every minute of it with Jack McGowan and a lot of people over there.
What nationality are you in it, Burgess?
I play an Oriental.
Because you have played an Oriental very successfully in the past.
That's right, a couple of times.
In Tea House of the August Moon,
Tea House, August Moon, and a couple of others.
Yes.
But I would test myself, by keeping the makeup on, going through the streets, and people come up and talk to me in Chinese, and I'd say I can't, deaf and dumb.
Is that a Hong Kong tie?
That was, by the way, glad you asked, Don Kingman was my art director over there and translator and so forth, and he conceived this tie for me, and I thought I'd astonish you.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really
It's
is.
beautiful and it's brilliant. And Burgess,
right to Don.
we're delighted you went to Hong Kong to make a movie, but we're also very pleased that you're back with us again.
I'm glad.
We'll look forward to seeing the yin and the yang as well as There Was a Crooked Man.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Burgess Meredith.
Game Show Network.
Now, panel, the audience would like some honest answers to their questions. From Diane Cook of New York City to Soupy Sales. I can't stand men who wear nail polish. Do you wear it?
No, I have my nails manicured, but I just have them buffed, and I don't like polish either.
All right, from Mrs. Hennessy of Valley Stream, New York to Joanna Barnes. My husband is 43 and can retire soon. I think this is a mistake since he's quite fit. How do you feel about it?
Well, it depends what he's going to do when he retires. He may have a lot of time to fool around home. It might be kind of a second honeymoon. If it isn't, I'd be glad to take him to lunch or something.
And from Judy Kaplan of Boston to Arlene, do you think a college education is a must for a young girl of today?
I do indeed think it's a must for a young girl or a young boy of today, if they have the adaptability for it. Otherwise, learn a trade.
Thank you, panel, for your honest answers. You know, Gene, I'm curious. You rode your bike in today. Have you ever received a ticket in Manhattan for riding your bike?
Never. No, I'm a very law-abiding citizen.
How can you be and ride on the streets of New York City?
He doesn't. He rides it on
a bus. And it's very crowded in the aisles.
But you even take it up elevators, I understand.
Oh, I go everywhere. Offices, everywhere I have to go. My bike goes because I love my bike.
We'll be back again with Gene Rayburn and his bike, and I hope you can join us, too, for What's My Line?
This is Johnny Olson speaking for What's My Line, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
With Joanna Barnes.
Are you to be found in the newspaper pages